Welcome to Camp Chaos, where we celebrate the wild ride of modern womanhood.
Join us as we dish on motherhood, life's ups and downs, and all things pop culture that we know you want to talk about.
With special guests and expert insights, we're here to empower you through the chaos of everyday life.
Consider this your ultimate escape from the hustle and bustle. And as always, parental guidance suggested.
Camp is now in session.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Camp Chaos. We're so excited to have you guys today and to talk about all things postpartum, which before having a baby, I had no idea what postpartum even meant. Did you?
No, I didn't. And I feel like that's why I want to talk about it, because I think you aren't prepared for postpartum. You spend so much time prepping in pregnancy for birth. And
you realize that's the easy part. It's like, oh, wait, I have to bring this baby home and I'm responsible and I'm also healing. And my emotions and hormones are going crazy.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like I have a lot of pregnant friends right now, and I've been talking to them about postpartum, and even those who have had babies now, they're like, whoa, I get it. I see it. So I just think it's a really important conversation to have. And I think we're comfortable now being open and honest with what we've been through. So let's talk about postpartum C-section first, and then we'll do postpartum.
You know, I think also too, after becoming a mom, now when you have a friend that has having a baby, before it's like, oh, how's the baby? How's that? And now it's like, no, how are you? Mm-hmm. What do you need from me? Like, it's not just about like, let me come and take care of the baby or like see the baby. It's like, let me come and mother the mother, which I think is such a cool concept now. Yeah. That like after becoming a mom, you get it now.
You totally get it. Yeah.
So yeah, C-section recovery. Oh my gosh. I feel like with Zane, I was so much more focused on him and his recovery and healing because he was in the NICU and had like a CPAP machine, and he was like, he definitely needed some TLC. And I was a C-section, and they're like, you have to be able to walk. And I was walking myself down to the NICU. I feel like immediately after, I wasn't even in a wheelchair because of that draw of like, I need to go be with my baby. But that C-section recovery was no joke.
It was no joke.
It was no joke. Like trying to get up in bed. Oh my God, I can feel it.
I remember the first time, because you have to wear a ab binder after you have a C-section in the hospital.
Which, by the way, did you also hear that like you shouldn't wear them that often too? Like only wear it for 6 hours at a time. Like all these
don't tell me these things. I know. Well, I don't even think I was very good about wearing it.
Yeah, okay, good.
But I did wear it like when I was in the hospital, just because I felt so like
better and secured with it. When you just feel like mush and it's weird, like what is going on?
When I got up that first time to walk around, I'm like, are my organs falling out?
Yes.
Are we okay? We so
definitely not.
Definitely not okay. Yeah. You know what was hardest for me? And this is like TMI.
What?
Okay. Also, when I officially found out I was having a C-section. No. Went on
ordered
Colace. No. This is what I'm going to talk about. I went on YouTube and I was like trying to Google C-section recovery, and people said like you need to have a small pillow to put pressure on your incision for like if you laugh, if you sneeze, like if you cough, all those things. So I had that, and I didn't realize like the feeling of coughing, laughing, all those things. But yes, going to the bathroom for me,
that was worse than birth.
Was the hardest thing. And in the hospital, they give you one stool softener. And let me just tell you, you need
bring
to
your
load
own
up. You need to bring your own. You need
magnesium.
3 stool softeners a day, whatever Colace, like the max is for the day.
Get the Calm, magnesium Calm.
Yes, because I went home from the hospital. So 3 nights in the hospital, went home, and I like had the feeling, because at this point I'd started eating again. I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. I feel so gross. And I'm taking the stool softeners. Nothing is happening. It's like day 2. I was in the bathroom.
Like, do I need an enema?
No, I was drinking prune juice, which I'm like, it didn't even taste bad, but I was just like, I'm now loading myself up with
feeling even
worse. And I think it was like the second or third day that I was home, still hadn't gone. I'm in the bathroom bawling my eyes out. And Drew's like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, nothing.
Go away. I want you to leave. Yeah, like, don't look at me. You can't help me.
And like, you can't really help yourself.
Yeah.
Because you can't push. Like, all you can do is sit there and pray that like something is gonna happen. Wow, did I ever think I'd be talking about this too?
I know, right? No, but you know it's weird.
But that's what I'm always like. Take stool softener if you're a C-section mama.
100%. Like, but also even if you're not, just like if you're about to give birth, just start with the magnesium and the stool softener. Is 100%. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I was really curious of looking at my scar right away. Like, that sounds so weird because part of you is like, I don't even want to know what happened. I don't like the fact that you're cut open
That was
7
more
layers
me.
down there. Like you don't even want to look in the mirror and like happen to maybe see it. I was like, let's check it out. Like I want to see like what it looks like and how it's healing, which
Were
is so
you
gross.
glued together or sutured on the outside?
I think I was both.
Yeah, I think I was like sutured and then like glued.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, is it going to be straight? And also like your stomach is still going down. So like, it just doesn't look right. It's all swollen. Oh my God. And I feel like the other thing is like when you're in those bathrooms of the hospitals, the decor is not nice. It is like the shower curtain is bad. Like you just feel like at your lowest low and
And
you're
then it's
like
the mesh underwear where at that point you're like,
fuck.
why am I even wearing these?
Honestly though, like the Frida. Best
Best boy
invention
shirts.
ever. Like
Yes.
how did people give birth without this stuff? And that Perry bottle too
Yes.
for like the second births, like without C-section. Game changer, the ice pack, all of it. Like bring them, invest in them, do it. People say, oh, you actually don't need anything when you go to the hospital. Like they have everything. They have stuff.
A little different.
Bring your own
Bring your
shit.
own.
Just bring your creature comforts of like that you, the things that you don't think you need that you're gonna need.
Right.
But for sure with Zane, like the C-section, the sitting up and having to get up and walk around. And people that have not had C-sections, so like my mom didn't have a C-section, so she doesn't know. Like you think, oh yeah, it's intense, but now anyone that's had a C-section, like how can I come help you and be there for you?
Right. Yeah, like the middle of the night nursing, you realize, you know, even for me, I worked out my whole pregnancy and doing Pure Barre and just being a dancer my whole life. Like I felt like I had a pretty strong core, but once you've had surgery like that, you just cannot use your core. Like even if you want to.
Doesn't matter how strong you were.
Pull Miller out of the bassinet into is all core.
Yeah.
Like you are, and that's why Drew had to help me so much in the beginning. You can't lift the car seat. Like you can't do all of those things. So like that part of postpartum.
And like you can, but you're going to injure yourself more and like make your recovery that much longer. Like I did some stupid shit.
Oh my God. My doctor was like, don't even load the dishwasher. I'm like, what?
Did you hear that, Drew? Yeah.
I know. Well, I did all those things.
Yeah.
Because it's hard not to. And then you feel, well, and then there's this whole other part of postpartum that feeds into the physical part of postpartum, but that I was not prepped for was like the mental part of postpartum. Yeah. And I don't want to say that I had postpartum depression. I just think I experienced postpartum, which was like the hormone
have baby
drop.
blues?
It was the third night that we were home and it was like 7:00 and I went into our bedroom and I couldn't stop crying. Like I was bawling my eyes out. And I went to Drew.
Did you know why? Or could you even think of what was making you upset?
And
just hormones.
No. And I asked like myself, I'm like, why am I so sad? Like I've been dreaming of this moment. I have my baby home. Like I'm with my husband. We're watching TV. Like why am I crying?
I should be so happy. Why am I crying?
So I was nursing in my room. I brought the baby to Drew. I was like, I need to go in the room and cry and then sleep. And I literally cried myself to sleep, went to sleep for 2 hours, woke up, and I felt like
a different person.
Yeah,
You're like,
I was like, oh my God, am I
welcome
okay?
to hormones?
Yes. Yeah. And then I also wasn't aware of like the night sweats that were coming and just like feeling so disgusting physically because, you know, people don't know this, but you still bleed with a C-section down there.
Yeah.
Clots. And then you have this recovery. And then it's like, then I couldn't go to the bathroom. And then I'm sad and I don't know why I'm sad. And I'm like mad at myself because I'm sad. So it was like going through all these things. And then it did settle out. Like I was fine after like 4 or 6 weeks.
And then you look back and you're like, was that a fever dream? Like you're like, what was that weird period of my life? Yeah, it's so cuckoo. I feel like for me, I didn't really prepare. I was so worried during my pregnancy of like, is he going to be here safely? Am I going to be okay? I was living at Hogue. We were building this house. Like there were so many other variables that had me concentrating on things. I didn't even think about, okay, how am I going to take care of myself postpartum? And how am I going to I didn't even know the word until I was in it. I remember being in my house and being with Zane and being like, holy shit, my world just got rocked. I'm in a new environment. I have a new baby. I don't even recognize that woman that's looking at me in the mirror. I had friends, I had weird things happen. I think when I delivered Zane, I had a friend that got COVID at my baby shower that is no longer my friend and blamed me for having a baby shower. I had a lot of weird things happen to me in a time where it was such an emotional roller coaster already, and then added things into it that were like, these are enough if things didn't just happen. Like I just had a baby and a crazy hormone drop. But I remember I went to therapy for the first time ever, and the therapist sat with me and she goes, It's just so bizarre. She told me like 5 things. She goes, you need to shower every day. I'm like, yeah, try. Shower every day. Got it. Cool. She said, drink good water. Okay. Eat. I'm like, yeah, like these are very simple things. And she said, write 3 things that you're grateful for and go on a walk. And I'm like, the shit that you just told me to do. Okay, yes, but like I need more. Like I needed more healing. I needed more help. I needed more support. I remember driving home and thinking, what the fuck? And I also asked, I was like, okay, should we schedule another session? And she said, I'll call you. She never called me. I was like, my therapist just fired
Divorced
me.
you.
She just broke up with me, which I was like, got it. I'm a basket case, like fully understand. So then I went to the new mom school as I'm like, I need some sort of a group that, you know, is also in the same boat as me, because I had nobody down here with me in Orange County that was having a baby. I had 2 friends in LA that had babies before, but they weren't in the baby stage. Mm-hmm. So like, I mean, honestly, that's why I was like sliding into your DMs. I'm like, that's how we met in our postpartum era. But I just needed some sort of connection because I felt so alone in my experience.
Yeah. And I wonder too, I mean, I feel like it happens more with like first time moms, the postpartum of the feeling alone. I think for us, we had an added factor of the COVID thing, because I remember it was so shameful. Like I wanted to walk Miller to South Coast.
I know.
Like I just wanted to walk him around. I felt like I was being judged because I took a newborn baby to South Coast. Yeah. But that was because it was still COVID and that was like so frowned upon.
Like,
but
I just want to walk them all.
I just want to get out of my house. Yeah. And like I had so much anxiety getting into bed with Miller. Like the place that used to be my place of rest, my safe place, was now, holy shit, what am I going to experience tonight? Like, am I going to go close my eyes for 20 minutes? Am I going to close my eyes for 2 hours? So it was like the anxiety. Then it was like your body is actually experiencing the most significant hormone drop that it will ever experience in
100%.
the lifetime until you have another baby.
100%.
So then like you are actually experiencing these emotions for a reason, because your body is like going through this stuff. So I just remember, I even told my mom, I'm like, you didn't tell me this. And she's like, why would I tell you everything and scare you? I'm like, I don't know.
You wouldn't have had a baby. I mean, honestly, like think about that. All of the things that you think you're going to experience, you think that you're going to give this beautiful birth, and then that gets robbed from you. You're having a C-section. You think that like you're going to bring your baby home and you're going to feel some sort of way, and you don't. And then you feel like, oh my God, you're bonded with your baby, but like, why do I have this rush of emotions where I'm crying and I should be happy and I feel happy, but I'm also upset and I don't recognize myself. Like my body changes. That was really, really, really hard on me. Mm-hmm. And then also having like that scar, that was intense.
Oh, my scar is huge.
I know you and I talk about scars. We're like, that's why we almost did C-sections again, because we're like, should we just go get that fixed? Like,
well, I made you like feel my scar. I mean, I keloided, but that is genetic, and there's like not really anything you can do with it. And I think, you know, for both of us with time, you kind of accept the new. We're never going to be the people that we were before.
No,
Our bodies are never going to be.
And I actually love my scar now. Yeah.
And you know what? I will show Miller that scar. Yeah. And when he's acting up, he will see photos of him coming out 100%. Of my stomach and look at this scar. But I think, you know, for me, I remember when I was getting ready to give birth to Miller, I was like, I'm not going to be able to control my happiness when he comes here, because I'm going to be so happy, because not only am I having my first baby and he's a boy and he's going to be a newborn and I'm going to go to Nordstrom. It's going to be the holidays. Like it was all my favorite things at one time. And then when it wasn't that, I'm like,
what the fuck?
What is happening? This is not going according to plan. But I think, you know, postpartum is such like an individual journey and it changes each time. I will say, when I was getting ready to have Palmer, I'm like, okay, I cannot experience what I experienced with Miller, because I was not okay mentally for like 3 to 4 weeks. Like I was genuinely so sad. So I'm like, I'm getting out. I'm getting out of this house. Like I want to go do things. I that for me makes me feel like I'm not
feel good,
you know, in this jail cell. Yeah. Like I can't leave my house, and we do the same, you know, when you're in the newborn stages, it's eat, sleep, repeat.
But it's wild that I feel like you don't know until you're in this. So like moms out there, like you think, okay, I've got to like plan a social calendar and like get out there. No, you have to just do what feels right for you in that moment. But I have a girlfriend right now that she just delivered probably a month ago. And I've asked her like twice, because I'm also like, I don't want to keep pushing myself, but I'm like, let me know when you're ready for me to bring you lunch and come help you and bring you and love on you. Mm-hmm. But she's like, I'll let you know. And now it's been a month. I'm like, honey, I need to get my hands on that baby. I need to come see you. I was somebody that was like, come over right now. I need your help. And like, come hang out with me. I'll DoorDash food. And like, I wanted people around me. With Zoe, I had Taylor Swift tickets. And it was 8 days postpartum, and I was never not going to go see Taylor Swift. So I'm like, I'm in a boot because I also fractured my foot. Remember that?
Were you 8 days postpartum when you
I was
went to Taylor
8 days
Swift?
post, or maybe 19. Maybe I was like 11 days postpartum. It was the first week of August, and so it was probably like 11 days postpartum. Yeah. I had a boot on because I fractured my foot. Remember, I fractured my foot with her.
I thought no big deal that you're going to Taylor Swift.
Yeah, because you probably would want to go too. And I think you were about to deliver Palmer. But it was like, that felt good to me. I was wearing a diaper. I was pumping in the car on the way up. But I'm like, I want to go see Taylor Swift. So it's whatever feels good to you at that time. I had so much fun and I don't regret it. But like, also if I did that with Zane, that like 2 different postpartum experiences, and it wouldn't have felt good at the time. I'd have been like, no, thank you. Sorry, T Swift. I'll catch you on the next one.
Yes.
But I think I really admired what your friend Kendall did. Our friend Kendall did was that meal train for you. That was something I'm like, wow, genius idea. You don't have to think about dinner. How many flowers does a girl really need? Don't get me wrong. It's so wonderful feeling loved, and like, please send bouquets, please. But having dinner and like giving that kind of love is so sweet and so thoughtful.
Yeah.
And not having to worry about that.
Our college group of girlfriends, Kendall and I were actually like some of the last in that group to have babies, but they started that. And it was, for Kendall and I who hadn't had babies, we were like, wow, this is amazing. Like, also when I didn't have kids, like I would do the home cooked meal, but you don't realize how much you need it until you're in it. So for those who don't know, it's basically like a meal train, a website, and one of your friends can do it, and it's basically a calendar, and you volunteer for different days. And it's so easy now with the delivery stuff.
Oh my God. I'm like, here's the DoorDash gift card. There you go.
And
you don't have to cook and bring.
You don't have to cook. You don't.
I'm not
think
bringing you a
about
casserole.
it.
Sorry.
But then you have leftovers. Like, it's the best. And it's just like one thing to take off your to-do list when you're in postpartum. When I was getting ready for postpartum with Palmer and realizing that I was possibly having the vaginal, I'm like, oh my God, wow, I'm literally going to walk out the hospital, walk to Javier's. Like, this is going to be amazing. Yeah. That vaginal recovery was
so
not a walk in the park. Like, you guys, I get so many questions asking me, was a C-section recovery easier or a vaginal birth? In my opinion, they were equal.
Same. Actually, my vaginal was worse because of what happened.
Yeah. I had a 2nd degree tear. I like had I don't need to say everything, but like, that was not easy either.
No.
It's trying to sit on stitches down
God.
there in your bed while nursing. I remember I took Miller to my gym.
Did you sit on a donut? You didn't have a donut?
No.
Oh, honey, I had a donut in every room. Amazon, those donuts. I was like, but I tore, I think, 4 different places.
I didn't even know different places.
I didn't even know there were 4 places to tear down there.
Oh my
but
God.
Apparently I thought there was one way and the other way. There's more.
I tore 2. Yeah. But
it was enough.
It was plenty. But that was not an easy recovery either.
No.
And
there's nothing about this shit that's easy.
No,
and the women that make it, I'm like, please silence for the ones that most of us don't have it.
And the vaginal birth recovery, I felt like which I think most people do, and this is going to sound so stupid coming out, I like to feel clean.
Yeah.
And I feel
same. Check.
No, but
you're with the majority in that one.
I feel like with the vaginal birth, you are never clean. Like, that for me was so hard. I'm like, I've showered 5 times.
You didn't do a sitz bath?
No, I didn't do the sitz bath, but those Frida Mom ice pack things, Kendall dropped like a whole pack off. Yeah. And I was like, these are amazing. Like,
the spray,
the Perry bottle,
pads,
the spray, the witch hazel, the whole thing. But I'm like,
in rotation.
I've showered 5 times today and I still feel
the sitz bath
disgusting.
helps. There's like this like concoction.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. As moms, the postpartum phase is so hard. We are so focused on new baby that we often forget about our own mental health.
I know for me in my postpartum journey with my first baby, I really wish there was something like BetterHelp for me back then, and just to have that moment for me to tune out and focus on my own mental health.
I know therapy can be really scary, and as new moms, we don't even think about setting time aside for ourselves, which is what makes BetterHelp so great. You can do it in your own home, before the kids wake up, after they go to sleep, whenever is convenient for you.
If you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. Visit betterhelp.com/campchaos today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/campchaos.
Okay, isn't it wild too with postpartum? I feel like your moms that have just gone through it within the last year, like they get it more. I had a girlfriend from LA drive down. I had a hard time producing milk with both babies. She brought me every sort of thing you could ever imagine. Bee pollen, these things that I should, the goji, to produce more milk, bone supply. Broth. She went to her farmer's market and like had grocery bags delivered to my house.
Wow,
when I came home, the nicest friend in the world, but she had just gone through it. And it's like, she remembers probably, I'm sure, wow, nobody did this for me, so let me do this. Or somebody did do it for me and it made me feel so loved and cared for. So she did it for me, but she drove from LA and brought me all this stuff. I like still could cry thinking about her because she walked in and she actually did say to me, she goes, "You look like a bad SNL skit." I was in a boot and a diaper with a pump on and Zane pulling at me and a newborn. She's like, "This is just not, I'm here to help you, but this is not looking good. So let me help." I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much." But like not having people like that, if you haven't given birth, it's hard to understand. But once you have, you're part of this group that you're like, who can I help? Who can I go help wash bottles? Can I clean your pump parts? Can I take the baby so you can go shower? Can I cook? Like, I mean, just doing anything, you just feel like this insane draw to want to mother the mother instead of just being like, let me hold the baby and love on the baby. It's like, I need to mother the mother.
And I think personally, like, especially going through it the second time, and that's why I hope like any first time mom listening to this can prepare themselves. I think the second time around, I even had the conversation with Drew ahead of time of like, listen, I am the number one in postpartum. Like, I'm sorry, but I
not
am.
Miller, not Palmer. No, it's me.
Me and my mental health. Like if I'm telling you today I want no visitors, that's what today means. If I'm telling you today I'm tired, then I'm gonna nap. Like you realize that it's so important to take care of your mental health during those first few days because you're going to go through it.
Yeah.
Every mom is going to go through that hormone drop. But if you can be ahead of it and like, you know, say, I even told my sister when she's getting ready, I'm like, you need to say, take the baby. I'm going to take myself to Coffee Dose to get myself a coffee and then I'll be back.
But it's
like,
so hard to.
It's so hard to do it.
Because you're like, I'm going to do it all.
Well, of course. Yes. But that's why, you know, I told her and I told my friends, like, just doing one thing like that a week. Like you don't need to do all this self-care and go get massage. Well, you can't even do any of that, but just 5 minutes, like walk to the mailbox by yourself, listen to a podcast, listen to Camp Chaos, walk 5 minutes, like just 5 minutes for yourself makes a world of a difference. And I felt like I was way more on top of it the second time around because I was prepping. Like I was ready for it. I knew.
Yeah. I think that I'm personally somebody that I don't like to ask for help. And I'm lucky that my mom is like just somebody that's like, I'm just going to be here and I'm going to help you.
That's my mom too.
I don't know what I would have done without my mom. And I always think now, like looking at people that don't have a close relationship with their moms or their moms don't live nearby or they don't have a mother-in-law or somebody that they have during this important time of life. Like I truly don't know how I don't think I would have survived it without my mom. Like, how do people do this?
I don't know. But yeah, like my mom was literally there.
Yeah.
My mom, so I couldn't be like you and do the night nurse, but my mom with Palmer, she was there every day, like checking in on me. But then she would take her every night at 9 p.m. I would do her last breastfeeding
and they
at
would
9
stay
p.m.
till midnight, right?
They would stay for her longest stretch. And it was like, I only trust my parents with my kid. Like, I don't know, just because there's many reasons, but it was like I could sleep for 3 hours knowing she was in perfectly good hands. And my mom would try to stretch her, which like helped with her sleep. So at one day, my mom was coming in my room at 2 a.m. Like I had been asleep for 5 hours and Palmer had like, even if she would wake up a little bit, my mom would, you know, tap her and she'd go back to sleep. And so my parents
Your
would
mom
stay
was
there.
your night nurse. That is
she
the
was
night
my
nurse,
night nurse.
Taylor.
Yeah, I know.
That is the rarity of your mother.
Yeah.
And your dad.
Yeah, they would both stay there until 2 a.m.
You had an incredible support system with your family.
Yeah. And
but
a
lot of people are not that lucky.
Don't. No. And these are just ways that helped me in postpartum. But I know it's maybe people don't want to hear about postpartum because it's kind of scary, but I feel like it's important to talk about because the unknown for me was scarier.
Yeah. And I think all the books that I read during pregnancy, it was all about your labor. I mean, I read Bringing Up Baby, but like also that book, which is incredible. I love that book. It's like more of like a French parenting style. That is so far. That's like, you read that book when your kids are like 18 months, 2 years old. You read that book then. But like there should be books, and I'm sure there are out there, but like there should be so much more focus as the mom to how do you take care of yourself and the baby, of course.
Right.
How do you take care of yourself after having a baby?
And you know what is also I found really helpful in the postpartum journey, what you said, is finding another mom who's right in it with you.
Yeah.
Because
that's why you're sitting on my bed.
Because the newborn days, like 0,
It's dark.
1 month to 2 months is a huge difference.
Yeah.
2 to 4 months, huge difference.
Totally.
When they hit, the year mark, well, maybe like 18 months to 2.5.
Yeah, there's like
it starts to all kind of blend.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, like we're talking, those are big differences. So to find a mom.
Oh my God,
like,
what do you mean? Like even the umbilical cord fell off or it didn't fall off.
Right.
Like is this, like
this
the
normal?
days. Yes.
Yeah. Finding like another mom. That's why things like New Mom School is so great, because they're literally putting you with people who have had babies in the same month. Because to have a support system of someone that's like, if you don't have your parents or your family close by, to text at 3 a.m. like, are you up and nursing? Kendall and I would text each other like, hey, checking in. I'm here like 3 a.m. Yep, I'm here 4 a.m. And
just knowing that there's like, you're in company with other people.
Yeah. Or like I'd be shopping online.
Yeah. It is kind of weird too when you look back at like your postpartum, and when did you feel like, okay, I'm out of postpartum, or are you still in it now that our babies are turning a year in the next month?
I know, like we're going back. No, I feel like I was successfully out of postpartum like around the 2-month mark.
You were? Okay. I feel like that's pretty early.
Yeah.
I think it took me, at least with my last, like with Zoe, I feel like she's born July. I feel like it was like October, November, like around Thanksgiving, where I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel more like
I was
myself.
Feeling good in October, and then by Halloween was Palmer's hip dysplasia. So then I was like in the darkest place that I've ever been in, so that was different.
That's true. Oh, you're feeling good? Here you go.
But like in terms of postpartum, I feel like right around the 8 week, just because I feel like no one's sleeping, but at least you're getting a better handle on things. Like with the first, you're getting a better handle on like what life is now looking like. With the second, you're like, okay, Miller still loves me, because I went through this period in postpartum thinking that
Let's
he hated
talk about
me.
that. Oh, he did. I'm sure. Zane, don't you think? Well,
No,
okay.
did.
And that was like a whole bag of freaking. It was the first time
from the hospital for me.
Yeah, same.
Because I think we had the same.
Yeah.
So my parents brought, which also I realized everyone thinks we're crazy for having McCall in a photo shoot in the hospital. I thought it was totally normal, but
no, I'm so happy that we did though. Like the Fresh 48, if you don't know, like having a photographer come and take professional pictures. Granted, you're wearing a diaper. Granted, you're bleeding. Do the pictures. Like those are the most beautiful moments.
Thing.
Having your hospital bracelet on. Like there's just
the hospital bassinet. Like
yeah.
I didn't want the newborn photos at home. I wanted those. Like
Same.
I have my IV still in.
Same. Like give it to me raw.
Cool.
Yeah.
But I had my parents bring Miller in, because I told McCall like, okay, let's do some with just us 3, and then we're gonna have Miller come in. And he was like not into the photos, and like also kind of weird around me
because there's a baby there.
I know, but I don't know.
You didn't think about it. You're like, smile. I need these pictures.
Well, yeah, I was like, smile. And then I'm like, it's mommy. Like, what do you mean?
It's
like,
me,
love me, hug me. And he was not doing that. And then
Taylor,
my parents were.
When Zane walked into the hospital and McCall, I have pictures of this. He slapped me across the face twice.
Oh my God.
It was the first time I'd ever left him. And he walked in there and he was pissed. He was crying. And he came over to the hospital bed where I was with Zoe and he smacked me across the face.
I think you told me this. And I think I just thought that Miller wasn't going to do that.
No, because you think I thought Zane wouldn't either. God.
No, it's kind of shocking. And then I remember like my parents had to take him because they were taking him home. Like they were trying to follow the schedule with him. And that night
you almost feel like you're cheating on your firstborn.
I felt like I was cheating. I was also leaving the hospital that day. Like I told my nurse, I'm like, discharge me at 24 hours. I need to go home to my son.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. So McCall came the morning after I had Palmer. I'm like so worked up by the whole thing. I am crying as the nurse is trying to do my discharge paperwork. Like, they have to do the postpartum questionnaire. Like, do you feel okay? I'm like, yes, I feel totally fine.
Yeah, you have to like make sure you're not suicidal.
She's
yeah.
looking at me.
Like, honey, I don't think you should be leaving. I think you should go to the other floor.
And I just told her, I was like, I'm really upset. My son hates me that I had a daughter with a bun. She's like, I'll be back.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
And then when I went home, I used to always put Miller to bed. Like he only wanted mommy.
And
then
now
it was
he
did not want me to put into bed. I want dad. I want dad. And
there's a whole other sense of emotions.
About it. I'm like, he hates me. That's why when you guys were like, I showed up at swim 4 days after I had Palmer, you're like, why are you here? I said, because my son hates me. I had to leave his house. I went to my gym. I delivered Palmer on Tuesday. I went to my gym on Friday.
Yeah, because you're like, I can't be in this.
I sat on one butt cheek because I'm
good. Everything's great.
And Ray's like, why are you here? I'm like,
because
my son hates me.
Because I can't be at home. He's torturing me.
Yeah. I was like, I mean, he loves me now and it was totally fake. And, it's just like,
well, congratulations, because I feel like Zane still hates me and Zoe's turning a year next week. No, I mean, and that's a whole other thing that like they tell you what to do when you have one and bringing home another two. And we could do a whole episode on this, but that was so hard for me bringing home a second baby, because I feel like, and I'm sure everybody feels like this crazy attachment with your first, and the boy mom energy is just different. And I'm like, okay, this is a girl. It'll feel different. And he's so protective. Like he'll want to love on this baby. And he did not. And he still has a hard time with her. But that for me was a whole other sense of emotion of like what I think I did to him. I wrecked his world. Granted, I know in the end, it's like I'm giving him the best gift.
Yeah, you're giving him the best gift.
But I still think he looks at me and he's like, fuck you.
See, I was really lucky. Miller actually loved Palmer.
Yeah.
And like from the day I brought her home, like he wanted to.
It wasn't Palmer that was his issue. It was you.
It was me. I was the problem. Yeah. It was not her.
You betrayed me, not her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It literally took
Zane blames Zoe. Miller blames you.
Yeah. It took until like my husband went out of town that I'm like,
this is it.
This is my time to move in,
That's all you got.
But that's hard in postpartum too, because then normally I would like sleep in the morning, and I told him like, no, I need to get him up from bed. I need to get him up because he hates me.
I need to win him back. It's so ridiculous. I know.
Wow, you are a lunatic. You have lost your mind that you think your son hates you. That's not the case.
And it's so weird. I think when you think about like postpartum and men, we'll have to have the husbands on the podcast of like interviewing them of what postpartum in their eyes was. But you think that like, yeah, okay, I could do this. It's a hormone drop. Sure. There's this little person that needs me. Sure. But I don't know if there's ever another time in a man or woman's life that they go through anything more intense other than maybe war than having postpartum hormones. Right?
No, I think so too. That's why like I want to talk about it. It is such a huge part of the journey of motherhood, but not a lot of people talk about it because it's scary and it's really uncomfortable, and you have to like, it's not fun.
No.
Unfortunately. I mean, maybe people have really, I'm sure there are people who have incredible postpartum experiences, but for both of mine, they were not fun and they were not easy.
Well, and I think it's important.
A short-lived period.
Yes. And it's important to like honor it and talk about it and accept the fact that like it wasn't all beautiful, but it is what it is. I think that we so often as women, we look back and we only think of the good. We don't remember the bad. But then I think it just builds on trauma that we've had. I mean, so many times I'm like, no, I'm okay. Yep. No, I'm okay. Like everything was good. And I compartmentalize it and I put it away. But if you don't deal with that stuff and like, that was a really hard time in my life, it's going to come back and it's going to haunt you.
Well, and I feel like it's good to acknowledge it. And we can look at it still and say it was beautiful. Like we made it through that time. And it like, you are stronger. You're a better mother because of it. You learn so much about yourself in postpartum. Like you're the one, it doesn't matter how much support you have. Like you are the one getting out of bed every day. You are the one waking up all night with your baby, feeding them, no matter how you feel. You're like, you just step into this like mother bear mode and you make it work. But it's also okay to say postpartum sucks. Like it's so hard.
Yeah. And make sure that you have those people lined up that like you need a break. You feel like you're going to lose your shit. You can call somebody and say, I need you to come watch the baby. I need to go on a walk for 30 minutes. I need to just get out of my mind. I need to get out of the house. I need to be able to disconnect from like whatever reality this is that I just stepped into, but I need help.
Yes.
And that's so hard for people to ask for help.
It's so hard. And just know like the postpartum journey ends. It's so short-lived.
And then like you look back and it's like as crazy as it was, it's like those were some of the best days. And let's do it again.
And let's do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went over my one of my best friends just had a baby and I went over to their house and I was like, you guys, it's quiet right now. Like you're not going to experience this ever again in your life where you're just looking at this little baby and it's so like it felt like sacred.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like,
because even when you do it again, when you have multiples, you're like, there's other ones. You've got Miss Rachel like, playing. You've got one hitting the other one. Yeah, there's no. It's I mean, there's something so beautiful of those days. And it's like just sitting in that moment and recognizing this is hard. I feel like shit. My baby's beautiful and I love on my baby, but like you just accept all the emotions that are coming with you and don't give yourself some grace. Don't have this crazy expectation of like, I should feel like this. I should feel like that. Recognize it's hard. Accept that this is a chapter in your life that you're going to look back at and be like, wow, that was beautiful. But it's okay that it's not perfect.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be. And if it looks perfect for somebody else, they are doing a damn good job faking it.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I think so too.
I also think like it's really cool to reflect back on your postpartum journey.
Yeah.
I think you'll feel so proud of yourself knowing that you've made it through those final days. And this conversation is not meant to scare any new mom by any means. I think it's more so just awareness of what you will possibly experience.
And everything you're going to experience is normal.
And it's normal. Yeah. It's normal to feel like you have lost your marbles.
And, you know, I think with Zane, I was so focused on like just checking the boxes of like, is everything fine? I didn't bask in the moment. I will say one of the weirdest tips that I got with Zoe, and I did it, and I'm so happy I did, is like set your camera. Like we have those little Octobuddies on our phones now. Like set your camera and record you in those days, early days with your baby where like, yeah, you don't look good. You're swollen. You're 40 pounds overweight still, like, because you give birth and guess what? You go home still looking like you're pregnant. You have your pump on, whatever those moments are. But like actually like having pictures and having those recorded, like I have them with Zoe and they're so special to me. With her turning a year next week, I literally watched them and cry. Like it's so dark. I look terrible. And it also is so beautiful.
Yes. I remember I had Drew, this is before I had my Octobuddy, but I made Drew take a photo of me. I think Palmer was like 3 days old. And you can see like my Freedom Mom diaper boy shorts, my shorts. I have like my nipple butter on the side. I have my glasses on. Like I literally look like a wreck. And I'm just like holding her to my chest.
And it's going to be your favorite picture.
It's my favorite because all the memories from those days come back. And I'm just like so proud of myself.
Yeah.
Like I was so strong 100%. In that moment. I was sad. I don't know what I was thinking, but you're like, whoa, cool.
Document it. Yeah. I mean, and document it, of course, with our photographers that come and do these beautiful pictures, but like you want to see the raw moments.
Yes. I would photograph myself at 3-4 in the morning nursing. Like I didn't care if the flash went on while Drew was sleeping. Let's document this. I need to know.
Yeah. But postpartum is not a one size fits all, but it is definitely everything you're going to experience, somebody else has.
Yes.
And it's
like
normal.
You and I.
Yeah.
So hit us up if you need some help during your postpartum journey. All right. That was another episode of Camp Chaos.
Thanks for coming on our postpartum journeys. It was fun.
It was a
therapeutic,
lot of fun.
cathartic, emotional.
Let's go to therapy.
I know, right? And if you're in postpartum, you know who to reach out to if you need some help.
We're here if you need us. Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Camp Chaos. We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our show. Connect with us on social media at Camp Chaos Podcast. Until next time, campers.